TGB, what is it, and other questions about it. The TGB is a small Discord server and a real-life community of multiple minorities and majorities, consisting of usually to the teenage ages of 12 to 13, maybe 12 to 14 at times, but there are a couple people who are actually older than that. But the main thing about the TGB is that it's this small community and group of people who like to harass others for their own entertainment, such as the LGBTQ community. They would be called, I would say, slurs of kinds that most people would not like to hear, and also they would be discriminating on color or race depending on where they are set on. Most of these TGB members are actually located within the United States, but there are some who live in different countries. Some of these members may include some things that may offend someone most indefinitely, or sometimes most like weirdly in a way that people would not like it at all. Before I continue on, I would like to issue a quick warning that the stuff I'm going to go over it goes into major conflicts, and it may offend one's beliefs or one's religion, because these images are highly, I guess you could say, offensive, or it offends people in a way that most people may not like it, or some people may not understand. First up, we're going to go over the ideologies and that kind of stuff first before we dive into most of the other stuff. This is a flag of Nazi Germany, or some may maybe call it No Germany, or the Third Reich. I'm showing this image because some of the TGB members deeply believe in Nazism and fascism is the key onto having a country that exists very well and great. It represents glory among TGB members, and I'm saying this because that some members truly do believe in this and they want to revive it, which is a horrible. In war, many people die, and I'm saying this in referring to the WW2 conflicts, and it relates to all that since they want to revive Nazi Germany from its former glory. It's madness, bloodshed. It's gonna happen all over then. It might be small, it might be impossible, sure, but Germany is known for its small comebacks and keep on going, as in most historical communities, such as the CB or the CHs. They believe that the European Union is a form of the Fourth Reich, which is a. If you don't know what a Reich is, first of all, a Reich is one of like the German empires, I guess you could say. It's like a country where it's in war sometimes, and it has a lot of land and has a lot of power within it. It has dictatorship, tyrannical rule, or whatever fits in your category. That might be a dictatorship of a country. As I said, this dives into most historical data, historical stuff. I said as a warning earlier, but we're gonna start getting into the more offensive stuff now. This is this is just the main identity we're going to be focusing on. This is the supreme leader of the TGB, or also known as the pre-TGB, or also known as the Great Barons. As I said, TGB stands for the Good Burger, as in the current one. The old one, or we call it the pre-TGB, is the Great Barons. That got rated, which was actually a really good idea. I should have done that, kind of. Maybe rating is bad, but for this case, the rating is good because we don't want any people to get hurt in this case. So now we're going to be focusing on what did he actually do that angered like 8 people, and then eventually probably the entire state of Maryland. This is the image saved from January 29, Vencord. It might be against Discord TOS, but Vencord is still useful in some times. This is, or we're just going to call him now HM because that's easier. He has posted a specific message that is going to offend a religion, more particularly Jewish people. This saying is in ideology of Nazism or fascism. This small speech as I'm going to say it separately because I am not going to offend anyone today. Heil, and then that little word hit, and then the LER. It stands for Adolf Hitler, like hailing to him for non-offensive purposes. In this case, he actually supports him, which is a really bad thing. And then Sieg Heil is, which I'm allowed to say because there's no Hitler in it. Uh, Sieg Heil is saying that German victory or Nazi German victory, as in like a victory celebration. This is horrifying, I guess people could say, because it's not just to be mentioned, but if you do say it in public, it's probably best if you don't. But if you do actually say it in public out loud by mistake, you're probably going to get either jumped or the police are going to arrest you for treason. In online, people can say it because since laws don't apply to them unless it's like admitting to a murder or theft that or a crime that's over unbound to every other country. I won't go too far into this, but this is just one of the messages that I received from an insider on January 25th, 2024, 4:56 p.m. Uh, this, if you don't know some of these little words, you shouldn't be watching this because you're probably a child or something. But the first word I understand. Most people don't even know that word. The first word is it's a slur, racial. Sorry, not a racial slur. It's a slur against the LGBT community. More specifically, gay people, which I'm completely passive about. I'm neutral about them. The community itself is actually pretty good. Not gonna lie, but and then it's followed by a couple of other foul language, and then he's referring to these copies of LGBTQ join the community stuff that goes into mailboxes every so month, maybe year, and he's telling them to go away with a F word in it. This, if you don't know what this usually is referring to, it means to kill them. Yes, it means usually to kill them or to make them just export them, exile them to a different country. He does not like this community at all, and he refers to a Jewish slur, I guess you could say, to SHITLERS. It adds an H in front of Hitler. Yes, I'm going to just mention the Hitler name since it itself isn't really offensive, and then it's a Jewish slur because it's mentioning Adolf Hitler and then adding an S in front of it to make it a really bad word itself. If you search it up online, it's probably not going to come out, but I recommend searching it up in the Urban Dictionary because this probably my teachers or whatever people come across is probably going to demonetize me for this. So go search it up on your. And now this is Lanson. Lanson is this is his Discord identity. We're just gonna call him Lanson because it is on there, and I'm not sure if it's a real name or not. But still, since it's his identity, I guess he just wants to be called that way. So he is a council member of the TGB. If you don't know, there's different ranks of members. There's just regular member. There's God. There's council. There's pre-council, I believe, and then there's supreme leader, which we have already talked about to be HM. Uh, there are also other ranks, such as these are more for the people who join the Discord server and then are a specific race or they believe in the community, like LGBTQ. They'll be placed with a racial slur or with a discriminatory slur. That's why a lot of people leave the first thing they get in. And we're talking about this specific council member because he said something that should not be said either way in any type of person. As we're moving away from that little introduction, this is one of his messages posted on the 25th of January 2024, 2:36 p.m. to be exact. He usually changes profile picture or whatever just to change his disguise every so often because he says a lot of things that people don't like and people report him for it. And then the second, usually they mention his little Discord user or username or other social media. That's why he changes it so often. Usually it goes from his normal original name, Lanson, to sometimes even composition or binder, or it's usually something school supply related, which is weird. Probably because he is a child, maybe like 6 years old, maybe 8 years old. I'm not sure. But as I said, the TGB member society little thing consists of people of all ages, maybe 18 plus, maybe 18 minus, majorities and minors, as the U.S. calls it. Uh, as I'm gonna talk more about this small message. As I said, uh, all so this is the continuation of the message little thing. All Jews are this word that I've talked about. We don't want them in the TGB, nor the U.S. wants these things. They're referring to LGBTQ, mainly just gay people, as things. They are not freaking things. They are living beings that deserve to be treated as equal beings. We don't have time for those who like to discriminate them. We think all people are living things. So stop discriminating them, please. It's just annoying and it's mean as hell now. This is a poster. To be specific, a poster that has been published or actually just mainly just posted almost everywhere in the east coast of the US and a little bit of Canada, I believe. This is also known as the Beware poster, as you can see on the title. A group known as the TGB, or also known as the Good Burger, has been spreading unwanted ideologies and harassing others for being a specific race or just being themselves in general. So the first paragraph meaning that they're just racially discrimination, just like stuff like that. They have been harassing multiple people since December 12th, 2023, which is true. But I believe they forgot to point out the Great Barons, which was way before that, like 2 years after that. Or sorry, 2 years before that. According to some people who either met them online or real life, they have been using unnecessary violence and discriminatory slurs and foul language. That is very true, as well as we just discussed that some of the messages included these discriminatory slurs and foul language, and the violence is not proven yet. But according to multiple people in Clarksville and Ellicott City, they said that some people, mostly just minorities, have been using a lot of violence recently and then yelling about TGB, which means that they are probably TGB members. And then it is also said that they have been spreading anti Semitism and Nazism online and putting up advertisements to join the Four Fight, meaning that they are planning to revive the Reich, which we did discuss this earlier during the little Nazi Hitler kind of segment. Uh, this is referring to the Reich, of course, again, which I did mention it earlier, which I said that like twice now. My memory is horrible. Sorry about that. And it's mentioning how they're trying to revive it and like how bad this is. They're trying to revive such a horrible thing, such a horrible massacre that killed over 11 million innocent people in this matter. Over maybe 5 million Jews and the rest of the 6 million are innocent people that the Nazis killed. This is just unbelievably crazy and insane that they want to revive such horrible event that created so much bloodshed during 1940s, maybe maybe early 1930s. It's just crazy how these minorities and majorities just come together and want to form a new society where there's no Jewish people, there's no this race, there's no that race, there's no LGBTQ. It's just insane and just mean at that point. This is Sarah Carter, a citizen in Australia who made the Beware poster. You might be thinking, how did a poster from Australia get shipped all the way to the US and Canadian coast and just put up all of them? Sarah Carter is a citizen in Australia who has influence actually, and to me, she is a savior. She put up multiple posters of these along the East Coast, maybe up down to Florida's little Bay of Mexico or whatever it's called. I completely forgot what's the name of that. Sorry about that, but still, she spreads influence about this and warns people of this since around December 20th, 2023, I believe. it's keep going on. There's multiple people who find it on social media. There's a few TikToks about it. There's a few Instagram posts on like Snapchat stories about it, but it's not enough, sadly. But I would like to thank you, well, thanks to Sarah Carter, because first of all, I used some of her posters and her name mainly, and of how good she is, a good person. She's the greatest person that's probably inspired me to make this video and make it into a project that I'm currently getting a grade for in a extracurricular activity and also online, which many people are going to see it, many people are going to get influenced, and I just want to give a round of applause to her. Now we're going to be talking about the social media post. January 29th of 2024. Sadly, this got only 2 views, but one of those views had taken a screenshot of it and then posted on like 4chan, Reddit, which made it known practically. There are a couple of those links in the description if I do remember to put them. Uh, and the person did not want to be mentioned in this video because she is extremely scared of being harassed by the TGB. And as I said, this specifically Lanson. This is based on Lanson as we had identified him earlier, and we have first now got his name and is now mentioning it. And we're going to just read this straight off the thing. Someone by the name of Langston Shen has caused some racket in Howard County by constantly harassing Jewish people, or also known as anti-Semitism, and spreading Nazism along Hoko, also known as Howard County. Although being roughly 12, 13 years old, he has many followers and impact many people in Howard County, and which means that he himself has just gotten known. He's just a hot topic now because of how much he did in that little small county in Maryland, to be exact. I'm like, how does a 13-year-old child manage to get known by multiple people on the internet just because he said a few words? All of those words are against people who are just specific race or beliefs. That's why he's a hot topic in Maryland just itself now, not just Howard County. It's just spread all across of Maryland and maybe a little bit of northern Virginia and maybe a bit of southern Pennsylvania as well. Now we're going into a different TGB member, an innocent child. He's much lighter, I guess you could say, from the other TGB members like Lanson and HM, but he is equally as bad as he said some racial discrimination of blacks and also some Asian racial slurs. We're just going to refer to him as an innocent child, but he is a boy, in fact, and we have confirmation that is. Now we're going to get into his messages. The messages are just blurred out because they're just straight up just slurs all over again. We're not sure if he is that race or not, but it's just multiple N word, the C words, and also the F word, not just the FUCK, the FAG that we mentioned earlier. It's just that spammed all over again to someone named SHIKI, which I do believe is Shiki or Sheki. I do not believe so. It's pronounced like that, but sorry if I pronounced it wrong to those people who speak that language, probably. But that's what it just says, right? I just want to do a quick thanks to Honey, the couponing site. I know you probably heard like multiple ads of this on YouTube, but thank you so much to Honey for noticing our first video, which got taken down by mass reports of the TGB and supplying us with indefinite amounts of drinks and food for us to keep working on this event. The protest will be hosted, I believe, on February 9th in the Mid District near Fulton or in Columbia. It depends where the leader of the protest wants to put it there or not. Thank you to the protest leader of this whole entire movement, Rayla K., the poster chargers, or also known as Sarah C. Video/advertisements are belong to JB, Iona of L, and Starfall, or otherwise known as me. Members are Lucid and some other members who want to remain anonymous because they're scared of being noticed by the TGB, as some of these members are actually insiders that gain info for us, and every time they post something really bad into the chat, we take note of that. We report it to the higher ups, I guess you could say. Thank you for watching this small project of mine. You should share this with others and make an impact to society. And mainly, I just recommend sharing this with your family, your friends that usually live on the Atlantic coast, or mainly just specifically in the U.S., because the TGB is just going to go ham at that point. The TGB originality in historical movements and stuff like that is going to be placed in another video somewhere else, maybe in the bottom corner.